Going on, everyone? John Matrix here. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful day. We're going to be jumping into the SCP universe here with the Vulcan. We're going to check out SCP-3114, Wouldn't It Be Chilly? Euclid Hostile Self-Repairing SCP. So yeah, links will be down below, as always, in the description to the original video without my commentary and reaction into the Vulcan's channel. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to head over to his channel and hit that like button on the video. And if you hadn't hit that sub button on his channel yet, go over here, do me a favor, and do so. I don't know why you haven't. The man makes a lot of great content for the SCP universe, and he definitely deserves the love. So yeah, we're just gonna jump into this here. Again, SCP-3114, Wouldn't It Be Chilly? By the Vulcan. I feel like it's chilly as in cold, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. Could be the spice. Which I love me some chili, man. I make a mean chili, I'm not gonna lie.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Miller.
My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-3114. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3114 is held in a 3 meter by 7 meter enclosure surrounded by reinforced steel with impact glass windows for observation. A smaller 1 meter by 2 meter cell is attached to contain SCP-3114 when its enclosure needs to be entered for maintenance, enrichment, or inspection.
Interesting. I'm already kind of getting like, I forget again, I'm bad with the SCP numbers. There's so many of them, I can't remember all of them, but the Alagadin mask that's in containment, I don't know why, it's just already kind of giving me similar vibes to that. You know, when they have a small box that it's contained in for when people got to go inside and maintain the bigger room that it's in. I think it was something similar to that. But anyway, let's continue.
When SCP-3114 needs to be moved from one section to another, a projection of a human subject will be displayed on a wall in the desired area. Once SCP-3114 attacks the projection, the door will be closed. No personnel are to enter SCP-3114's enclosure outside of approved testing procedures.
Interesting.
Description: SCP-3114 is an inanimate human skeleton. It stands approximately 1.6 meters tall and weighs 30 kilograms. Though it has no articulation or connective tissue, its individual bones remain in place as they would in a human body.
So it's literally just a skeleton, huh? I mean, like, don't these guys know about Turn Undead? You know, don't they have clerics at the SCP Foundation? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, brother.
Individual bones can be pulled out of position, but quickly return to their correct position when there is no longer an outside force acting on them. Though SCP-3114 is made of similar materials as human bone, it is much denser and stronger, requiring more than 3 times as much force to break. A broken bone will mend, though it takes several weeks for a larger bone. There is no current explanation for SCP-3114's ability to move. Its observed range of motion in its joints are similar to a healthy adult female's. It is much stronger than a human of comparable size. It is able to lift at least 250 kilograms with one arm.
Damn.
And has a measured grip strength of 270 kilograms. Its maximum observed foot speed is 60 kilometers per hour. SCP-3114
That's a fast-ass skeleton, brother.
is able to react to visual stimuli with an apparent field of view similar to a human's. However, it does not react to sound or smell. It responds to touch, but it is difficult to test its sensitivity. SCP-3114 has made no attempts to communicate until recent events. See Entry 16 of the experiment log. It is extremely aggressive and immediately attempts to attack any time it sees a human or other biological humanoid, referred to as targets from here on.
I wonder, okay, I assume it'll probably let us know as we go along further in this, but like, why would that be? Like, why? I mean, first off, obviously, it's just in general strange, right? It's just a skeleton that functions like a normal person, I guess, would, but it's stronger and faster. But, you know, like, did some wizard or mage from the SCP universe like make this and like just, hey, you know, target anyone that comes into my wizard tower or something like that? You know what I mean? I mean, like, that sounds, you know, sounds kind of dumb when you say it, but at the same time, this is the SCP universe, and stranger things have happened in the SCP universe than that. It could very well be something like that simple. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm just trying to think of, from what I know of other previous SCP things, what this could be and why. Nothing really is coming to mind. Like, why would this skeleton like attack any human being that it comes in contact with, unless obviously it died in some kind of, you know, horrific, traumatizing way. It was murdered, something like that. And so for whatever reason, that's left an imprint on it. And then some kind of anomalous thing happened to that person's skeleton, and they're in this defensive attack mode forever or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows?
When it sees a potential target, SCP-3114 will take the quickest, most direct route it can, only avoiding obstacles it cannot push through. Once it reaches a target, it will latch on with its hands and begin squeezing around the throat. Once the target has stopped moving, SCP-3114 begins tearing openings in the target's body and pulling out its bones over the course of several hours. Once it has completely removed the target's skeleton, it will attempt to pull the remaining flesh over itself. This tears the flesh into multiple parts. Once the body is no longer in one large piece, it loses interest in it.
So it's a skeleton that's looking to inhabit a body, and it's trying to kill people to then pull the skeleton out of them so it can wear them as a flesh suit. All right, I should have seen that coming, honestly. I should have seen that coming.
When no target is present, SCP-3114 is fairly docile. It explores its enclosure but does not attempt to escape. SCP enrichment objects such as blocks, tires, cardboard boxes, and sticks are provided and replaced at regular intervals. When the lights are turned off for the night, SCP-3114 lays down and becomes motionless. Though it resembles sleep, it is still capable of responding to visual stimuli. Experiment log excerpts. Entry 3, D1724. A 120 kilogram adult male. Date redacted. D1724 attempted to run when he saw SCP-3114 approach. When it caught him, he attempted to fight back but was unable to do appreciable damage to SCP-3114. However, this did agitate SCP-3114 a great deal, and damage to the subject was greater than in other observed cases. SCP-3114 gave up removing the subject's bones partway through when it became clear the subject's body was not intact. The remains were placed in a corner. SCP-3114 placed several sticks and a cardboard box on top of the subject.
So, is this supposed to be a chimpanzee skeleton? Is that why it's like stronger and faster? And is that why there's like this picture of a chimpanzee here? You know, like, what? I'm just, generally speaking, the little pictures here kind of tend to lead towards clues as to things that are going on. I'm wondering why this is the case. Maybe this will come up further here, but we'll see. But so they put a D-class in there. The D-class fought back, and it pissed off the skeleton even more. And it gave up sooner, tearing out the bones of this D-class because it was more severely damaged than it had been before. Interesting. Place several sticks in a cardboard box on top of the subject as though burying him. Huh. That's kind of fascinating too. So it even still shows some kind of, I guess, respect for the dead. You know, it like goes through the process of like acting like it's burying them. I don't know. That's weird.
As though burying him. Entry 5. Store mannequin, dressed as a Class D personnel. Date redacted. SCP-3114 ran to the subject as expected. However, it stopped several feet away. It stared at it for several minutes, then waved a hand in front of the subject's face. It seemed confused by the lack of facial features. It proceeded to touch the top of the head, tapping it several times before it finally carried it back to its enclosure, where it placed it in the corner. It mimicked its pose several times while standing next to it. It removed the mannequin's clothes and attempted to wear them. However, it was unable to operate the belt and could not keep the pants from falling. After several attempts, it appeared to grow frustrated. It removed the clothes, then threw them and the mannequin into a corner. Entry 6. Female Gorilla. Date redacted. SCP-3114 approached the subject but did not become aggressive until the subject stood up. SCP-3114 proceeded to engage in its typical behavior. However, the gorilla was able to break SCP-3114's left ulna before it expired. SCP-3114 was unable to fit itself into the subject's body, giving up after the body was no longer intact. It was buried in the corner, as with previous subjects.
How big is this, like, corner burial thing that this is, like, just throwing all these dead bodies in the corner? You know, I'd hate to be the person that has to go in there and clean that up.
Entry 9. Male Border Collie. Date redacted. SCP-3114 approached the subject cautiously. It examined it with its fingers and seemed surprised when the dog licked it. It interacted with the dog for 2 hours, becoming visibly more excited. It appeared to be engaging in play behavior. It wrestled with the dog without harming it and threw sticks for it. At one point, the dog attempted to bite SCP-3114's lower left leg, at which point SCP-3114 struck it sharply, frightening the subject. However, neither appeared to have been seriously harmed, and both returned to their play. The subject was removed from the enclosure without incident. SCP-3114 stood at the exit for several hours after the subject was removed, striking the walls repeatedly. However,
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a person is just, like, trapped in the skeleton, right? And it just wants to, like, have a body to inhabit or something. I don't know. I'm trying to, like, think of, I mean, I guess it could be any number of situations, right? Like I said, it could be a situation where someone had been murdered or something like that, and it triggered something around it, triggered an anomaly, and so that person's, like, soul has been stuck in the skeleton. Or it could have been what I said. It could have literally been what I said earlier. Someone, some thaumaturgist or, you know, spellcrafter in the SCP universe could have entrapped someone's soul in the skeleton and had used it for something in some way, you know, and that person died or just discarded it, and or the SCP Foundation could have just found it and contained it somehow, doing something else, you know, who knows? But it just seems like, I guess, a person that just wants to inhabit a body, right? Like that interaction with the dog there seems like it would be an interaction that any normal person would have with a dog that, you know, obviously enjoys dogs and animals. They, you know, it didn't try to kill it. It didn't really harm it. It played with it and interacted with it like a person would. So interesting. I'm just trying to think about, I guess, really what this is and why it's so hostile to people, other than the fact that it just wants a body to inhabit, and it, like, tries to kill people to remove their skeleton so it has, like, a body.
it did not use enough force to cause damage to its enclosure. Entry 13. Human Cadaver. Female. 55 kilograms. 2 days after death. Date redacted.
Yeah, really.
SCP-3114 reacted as it would to a live human, including an attempt to crush its throat for several minutes, otherwise identical to tests with similarly sized live subjects. Entry 14. Human skeleton, articulated for teaching. Date redacted.
Wait. They put in a human cadaver. Reactors would a living human attempted to crush its throat for several minutes, otherwise identical Okay, so then it just basically did the same thing. Okay.
SCP-3114 approached the subject rapidly but did not attack. Instead, it examined the subject for several minutes, then began to prod it. When this elicited no response, it ran its hand along the top of the subject's head. It then carefully removed the subject from its stand and carried it back into its enclosure. It cradled the subject for several hours. It then put the subject in the same position it takes during sleep periods.
Wait, hold up. What? So they threw in a human skeleton, like one of the fake ones or whatever that you see in like classrooms or, you know, in doctor's offices or whatever. And it approached it, didn't attack it, examined it, and then just like did it act like it was a member of a family or something like that? Because it's like it says it took it and threw the subject from the stand, carried it back to its enclosure, cradled the subject for several hours, then put the subject in the same position it takes during sleep periods. Like, what? Okay.
It then put the subject in the same position it takes during sleep periods. Entry 16. Human cadaver. Male, 145 kilograms, 1 hour after death. Date redacted. Subject reacted as in log entry 13. However, it was able to keep the body intact while it placed itself inside. It walked around its enclosure for an hour while wearing the subject. When the projection was shown to clean the enclosure, SCP-3114 did not attempt to attack the projection. Instead, it walked up to it and began to attempt interaction. D-4843, an adult male, was placed in the enclosure. When SCP-3114 approached, he attempted to escape. SCP-3114 grabbed him but did so gently. It continued to try interacting with him, taking his hand and placing it on its face, trying to ape his movements and embracing him. He reacted negatively to all interactions. After 3 hours, D-4843 was removed from the enclosure.
So once it finally got a human suit, so to speak, for lack of a better, words or terminology, once it actually found one that fit him, whatever, it tried to just act like a normal human. It wasn't aggressive anymore. Once they put another D class in there, and it tried to get him to, I guess, like hug him and be like it didn't try to attack him. It was gentle with him when it tried to restrain him, and it like basically was trying to like hug and interact with him more physically.
SCP-3114 waited for several minutes at the door. Then it tore the subject off of itself. It kicked the remains into a corner, then laid down next to the subject of entry 14. It did not move for 3 days, at which point it resumed its normal behavior.
Okay.
Well, on that kind of sad note, this concludes today's lecture. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed.
Interesting. So, like, it seems like it took it as a rejection of sorts, right? Like, they said earlier that the skeleton resembled what would be like a female humanoid skeleton, right? So maybe it was, maybe it is like a female personality, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, soul in the skeleton. And so it's like wanting to be, human again and have a body. And then once it finally got a body, it wanted to have physical interactions with another human being. And then obviously the fact that the D class rejected it so hard and probably found it hideous, it felt terrible about it and, ripped its flesh suit off and then had a bout of depression and just said it laid down for 3 days and didn't do anything, and then it went and returned to its normal behavior afterwards. So I don't know. This was interesting, strange, and sad all at the same time. It does, again, evoke more questions of like, what is the skeleton? You know, is there, it seems like there is some kind of consciousness trapped in there. So if that's the case, like, how did that happen and why? You know, those are the questions that I always have with these kind of things. So, I mean, a good SCP story, it's another short one, but it's a good SCP story where it makes you want, you know, it makes you want to know more. Like, I want to know more. I want to know, like, if there is a person in or consciousness in there, right? Like, why is it not able to communicate a little bit? Like, obviously it's a skeleton, right? It doesn't have the organs for communication, but you would think it would still be able to write. It's able to see things and perceive things, obviously, because it's able to attack people. And when they project the image of something on a wall, it goes after, you know, that projection. So you would think that maybe it would be able to like write and communicate, at least through some kind of written language, and they could get it to communicate that way to find out what its needs maybe are, and or what its wants are, who it was, and stuff like that. So I don't know. But yeah, interesting story. And I just, like I said, I want to know more. I want to know, was this a person beforehand? How did this get created? Why did it get created? You know, things like that. So things like that. So yeah, that was SCP-3114. Links will be down below in the description as always. See the original video without my commentary and reaction into the Vulcan's channel. So please do me a favor, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, and you know, give the man a sub over on his channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to join us as I'm doing these reactions, like I am now with my YouTube members, love to have you guys come in, hang out, and join our discussions. There is a join button underneath the video, as well as a link in the description. If you've been around the channel for a while, decide you want to take your support to the next level, check that out and see if any of that have any interest for you. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and the channel grow. We'll see you guys on the next one.